The video I just uploaded before this one was actually recorded 2 days ago. For those of you that don't read the video description thingy, I mentioned that in there. And then I forgot to upload it, so I just uploaded it a couple minutes ago, of course. So if some of the information seems like old hat or whatever, that's why. But check it out anyway. I think it's got some interesting stuff. Alright, Thursday evening closing in on here, so I guess it's time for me to make my picks. First, a couple of interesting things around the league. Cowboys signed Tank Johnson, as I predicted. I'm not saying I'm Nostradamus or nothing, but there you go. I think he's going to be an interesting addition to that front line. I don't know if he's big enough to play defensive tackle in the 3-4, but he could at least be an end, and you can't undervalue that sort of thing. Falcons signed Byron Leftwich, kind of an interesting quarterback battle there now. I would actually keep Harrington in. I don't think either quarterback is any good. But I look at Leftwich and I see a quarterback who has no touch on his ball. He doesn't know. He throws it too hard, generally, is the perception of Leftwich. And those Atlanta receivers have a hard enough time catching the ball as it is. I don't think it's a good idea to make it any harder on them than it already is. Niners lose Manny Lawson for the season with a knee injury, a potentially crippling injury because for years now, the 49ers have tried to move to the 3-4 defense and keep moving back to the 4-3 because of injuries to players that make the 3-4 possible. Lawson was one of those guys with his skills at outside linebacker. Now that he's out for the season, whatever pass rush he might have been able to contribute, which was likely to be quite a bit, is now gone. And, I don't know. But it could be precipitating a move back to the 4-3 eventually. He's a young, promising player, so it's a real shame to see him go down. Jaguars lose starting safety Sensabog. Most people don't know who he is, but he's starting now that Donovan Darius is out of town, so potentially bad loss for them. I think they can get through if they have a good secondary, but it could hurt potentially. That's about all I can think of in terms of recent stuff. So here's some picks. Again, 17 and 15 so far. Slow start, just like my team. They get off to slow start, so do I. It's time to pick things up. I got Tampa Bay over St. Louis. I got a new rule now. When I'm in doubt, I'm taking the home team. And I look at these two teams. I don't know how good Tampa Bay is. I bashed them this offseason. I didn't think they were any good, but so far, they've been doing pretty well, so I'll give them some credit. They're playing at home. St. Louis is banged up, and they haven't played well to this point. I'll give Tampa Bay the win here. The Jets will beat Miami. It's at home once again. I think the Jets are a considerably better team either way. They impressed me at the end there against Baltimore all around. I don't know if Pennington's going to be back or not, but either way, I think they have a good chance at winning this game. New England beats Buffalo. I really hate divisional games because those are where you get most of your picks wrong. I'm confident here, though. New England's at home. They're a far better team. Buffalo has had its balls broken I think Buffalo might have had its balls broken after that first loss to Denver that they feel they should have won. Like I said, Buffalo's going to surprise a team at some point this season, but I don't think it's going to be New England. Baltimore over Arizona. Arizona has a long plane trip over to Baltimore. We saw Baltimore get things together at the end of the Jets game. Still not quite where they want to be. Still a little bit of a shaky team that feels it could be 2-0 and could just as easily be 0-2. But I think they're going to get plenty of pressure on Matt Leinart. As always, that's what they do. Hold up the run. And on defense, on offense, I expect to see a lot of Willis McGahee. I got Pittsburgh over San Francisco, a couple of 2-0 teams. Games in Pittsburgh, though, and mainly for that reason, I'm going to take Pittsburgh. And also, I think that they're an all-around better team. Kind of tough to analyze here, but the 49ers' offense has been terrible so far, largely because of the struggles of Alex Smith to those receivers. So I see Pittsburgh completely dominating the 49ers' offense, and Pittsburgh should be able to get enough scores to win that game. Time for an away team pick. Even though Tavares Jackson is out with some sort of groin injury, I'm taking Minnesota over Kansas City in Arrowhead. And I always hate taking the other team when they visit Arrowhead. But in this instance, I'm going with the best team against the run in the league. They got that great run defense. They can run the ball. Two things Kansas City has a hard time stopping. So I'm taking Minnesota. I'm going to say Kelly Holcomb or whoever plays for Jackson does just as well as Jackson would have done, if not better. I think Minnesota comes out with a win there. I'm taking Philly over Detroit. This was a little tougher than I thought it would be when I really thought about it. But I look at the Lions secondary. I think it might be one of the worst, if not the worst in the league. And if McNabb can't get on track here, maybe it is Kevin Kolb time. And on the other side, I think the Philly defense can benefit from being able to drop back in pass coverage most of the time since Detroit can't run the ball. Hopefully they can force some turnovers. You know, my faith in Philly is admittedly waning, but I think they can get back on track here and win this game. Maybe get things rolling. But it's the last time I'm keeping this show of faith in them. Kind of an upset pick here. I really thought hard about this one. I'm taking Green Bay over San Diego. It's at home. Green Bay has a really impressive defense. They've allowed 13 points in both games so far. San Diego is still looks like they're playing on one foot or something because of their coaching staff or whatever it is. I do expect LT to get back on track against the Green Bay defense, which is good, but not that good. Not Chicago good, not New England good. But the defense of San Diego really, after seeing what they did against New England, maybe they're just not a road team. I don't know what it is, but I think Green Bay can, establish a good passing attack. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to run the ball. They haven't yet this year. But I'll go ahead and take my chances with Green Bay. I don't want to lose by picking the away team. So, there you go. Taking Indianapolis over Houston. Andre Johnson out for the Texans. I think this pretty much hands the win to Indianapolis because they had to find a way to be able to score 40 points to keep up with the powerful Colts offense. Without their best offensive weapon and best all-around player, probably that's not going to happen. That Texans defense has been playing well so far to this point, but I see Manning putting them back in their place all around. Denver over Jacksonville. Jacksonville still hasn't discovered who they are yet. Can they run the ball like they did last year? So far, no. So far, really, they've been more of a conservative passing team that doesn't turn over the ball very much and just kind of slowly chips away at you. And I think, Denver has had two very exciting close comeback games. Maybe a bad 2-0 team as far as 2-0 teams go. But I've always liked Denver. I respect what they do. I like what they do. I think they're going to get back on track any time now. I think I can see them beating Jacksonville pretty easily. I'm taking Oakland over Cleveland. I'm just taking Oakland because they're the home team. I was tempted to take Cleveland after what happened last week, but something tells me one-hit wonder. Oakland's been running the ball pretty well. Their defense, kind of not sure about their defense, but they were good last year, so we'll see what they can do this year. And Cleveland, I just don't trust that defense quite yet. I'm taking Seattle over Cincinnati. Again, part of it is me being a homer, but as I said in my last couple of vids, I think we can win this game. It's all about, a shootout, getting ahead early so you can establish the run, and keeping your safeties to the outside so you can double those two receivers on the outside because they don't have a real threat to go over the middle now. Unless, of course, they use CJ or TJ to go over the middle, which they can do. But they don't have that third receiver or tight end, and the running game is not quite where they want it to be at this point. It's still good, though. I think the most... Washington will beat the Giants. Rivalry game should be close, but Washington's a better team, and they're at home. I think Washington's going to pull this out. Just kind of pound the ball up the gut on offense, control the clock, and on defense, plenty of blitzes, that sort of stuff. Carolina over Atlanta. What can I say about Atlanta? I think I've said all I can about them. Carolina, still kind of my sleeper pick. I think they could win 9 or 10 games this year. Once again, when in doubt, go with the home team. I'm taking Chicago over Dallas, but that could be a really interesting game. I'm also going to take New Orleans over Tennessee on M&F, and I'm out of time.